Do 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 do. One sec, opening up my channel. Alright, so, no one's really on, and I got back late. I'm gonna get like fucking 50 hours at work. That's like almost 150 extra in overtime. I'm getting like another 150 from fucking, damn, what was I gonna say? Basically, this is a recap on shit that's happened. But my average paycheck, or my paycheck was supposed to come out as like 680 at the end of. And the reason I'm telling you this is pertaining. This isn't like, oh, me bragging about my fucking pay or anything like that. This is pertaining to what it's going to be like. Remember, it cost me about $1,200 to pay for a semester. So whatever I have above that saved up over $2,400, I will be putting back into video games and my streaming stuff. Also, I went back through and upgraded the fuck out of Constitution, so I like reduced my damage from bullets and explosions and electricity, increased my health, and all that shit. Because I just had them and I figured I'd use them. Damn, I didn't see that guy. But basically, my paycheck's supposed to come out about 680 next Friday, but I already have 10 hours of overtime for 1 week, so 8.5 times 1.5 equals 12.75 times 10. 680. So right now, if I don't get any overtime and I work what I'm scheduled, I'm supposed to be getting about $800 fucking dollars on my next paycheck. I'm guessing it's probably going to be somewhere around $1,000. They owe me 800 plus. They owe me 120 in back pay, and I'm supposed to be getting 163 from Texas, and if I get any more overtime, that's going to be great, and I'm supposed to at least get like 40 or 50 bucks. So I'm probably going to get for payback for like helping out a friend and some other shit and all that. So like, yeah, all that's going to come in. My birthday's going to come up in July. So like, basically I'm getting a lot of fucking money in just the span of like a few weeks. I'm actually really liking it. But like that's like $1,083 right there. So yeah, that's pretty fucking dope. So I'm probably going to put some money definitely back into my fucking gaming and stuff. Where the fuck is my car? As you found out in my last stream, I have had a falling out with 2 friends. Not so much one of them, but like his fiance's in the middle of it. And I basically got dicked over. And I'm in a way better mood now. I am in a phenomenal mood now. I haven't felt this good in a while, actually. I think now that I got it all out of my system, and then like me and my friends had talks about it, and like at the end of my stream the other day, you pretty much saw that like inadvertently I've unstable the marriage, and it's not like I intentionally did it. It's basically my friend Alan, who, by the way, keep in mind, all of my friends, most of them except for the ones I've recently played on Xbox, I have known since at least high school for at least 6 years. And Jericho, my friend who I defended when a similar instance of like having a girl stolen from him by a friend, and it was all fucked up, and he's like, oh man, I can't believe it, pulled the same shit on me recently, and that girl set him up with her, and she never called shit off. It was super fucked. And I've explained this multiple times in my past streams. And I confronted my friend about it the other day, the one whose fiance was like the middleman and all this, and setting shit up and going behind people's backs. So like, yeah, all of that just kind of culminated last night. But basically, he's been in a toxic relationship for at least 2 years, and then like, she basically admitted that they were probably gonna split up, and all of his friends like came together. They were all on the mic with me. It was kind of like the three of us, and then one of the friends just has dropped everyone altogether because he's just tired of shit and drama, and he moved on with his life. And I can't say that he's doing great, but I can say that he's not doing bad. Probably on average, which is shit. And yeah, so like that friend group got fractured, and like a lot of that blame kind of falls upon his fiance. And like I'd been helping him and his fiance out with their baby. He'd lost his job and all that shit. And I'd been like really kind and nice. And then she kind of fucked us all over. And I told him, I'm like, dude, I was the last friend you fucking had, and she doesn't want me around. And she pulled all this shit with me in the span of a week. And I think it's fucked. Like, and my grandma's health's been on the decline. So like all of this shit hitting me at once. And the worst part is they all know that like I'm dealing with shit, and they're just dealing blow after blow after blow. It's not right to beat a horse, to beat a dead horse, and they're definitely doing that. And it's not right to beat a horse in general, but that's just like the phrase. It's like beating a dead horse. Like the damage has already been done, why are you adding to it? But they are. So it's just been a little fucked, and I'm just like, whatever. And I think now I've kind of like gotten over it today. I worked a shift with my favorite worker, and I think that like venting to him about shit really helped me out, which is good. He's a good guy. Nice fellow. And then the only worker I'd had that was a pain in the ass for me finally quit. She basically got 2 write-ups, and I had warned my manager, like, hey, she tries to feed on your emotions and be an asshole. Don't let her do that to you again. And my manager was like, oh, okay. And by the way, she's a stand-in manager. She's not perma management or anything like that. She's just a stand-in.
It's one of them bandit dens again.
But she caught wise, and then whenever that girl tried to play her sob story, she's like, no, even though your kids were sick, you have like missed 20 days in the last month. I shit you not, or canceled them, or switched them, or played them off on someone else. And you've been calling in like super fucking late, etc., etc. It's like, we ain't fucking with that shit anymore. And she got 2 write-ups, and she said fuck this and left her post, which is an automatic termination if you leave your post.
Hey Lily.
And she did.
One
so
sketchy looking place.
Yeah, things ain't Vineland safe no more. Go in prepared, Walker.
Kind of getting used to this again. I apologize. Give me a sec to get my skill back. I think they're honestly just killing themselves with these fucking explosions, but they are getting annoying. Oh shit. Oh, thank God. I forgot there's the defib. Oh, did it really take away my rage? Oh wow, big guy went down fast. Really didn't take much. Jesus. Thank God. Fuck this place. Jesus. The layout kind of fucked me. It was a little wonky, and I just... Like, there was definitely verticality to it, but there was a height advantage. They had the high ground, etc., etc. It was a little shit. All in all, though, I came out okay. If I hadn't done those upgrades beforehand, I might not have lasted, because, man, I was getting fucked. Like, everyone was armed with explosives, which is a little excessive, just because, like, damn. Yeah, I know, but that supposed friend, he's a fucking dick. So I told our shared friend between the two of us, and by shared I mean he's known him for 1 year and I've known him for a good 5. Found out about it and went, you know what, we're fucking done with that guy. And he's like, dude, you know what, as your one good friend, besides Josiah, I think honestly if Josiah hadn't been here for me to vent to and stuff, like, I feel like I might have like handled shit a bit poorly. I think I don't talk to people. It's hard for me to relate to people. My family fucking sucks, and I'm like, hey, I don't have that sense of empathy towards most people. I can't relate to most people. Like, all that shit just kind of comes out at once. And it's like, if I can relate to people,
Dr.
it's
Kvasir
mostly
is still out there, and we have to find him.
just like my small group of friends, and that's it. And then my grandparents. And like right now, one of my most cared about individuals, my grandmother on my mom's side, the last living grandparent. And her mother was the one that technically raised me as a child. So, like, in a sense, she's my elder that I respect and love as a grandmother, but like I also have like a bit of a relatability with her because like there's a bit of like sibling rivalry, and not in the sense of like, oh haha, competing for parents' affection. It was I got more affection from her own mother than she did, which isn't right, but I mean she was old and she was pretty old-fashioned, and she did things her way, and I can't say I agree with them all, but she did raise me, so yeah. So there's always been that little bit of tension, but other than that, like, she's the only person really left on my mom's side that I have anything for, like affection, attention, anything. Like I just can't do that with other people. It's not how I go. And that might sound cruel or unusual, but like honestly, it's so bad that like, and like I've been listening to a lot of the Misfits podcast. If you don't know this, I think a lot of my inspiration for streams and stuff and like content really come from like the Misfits cast. And if you're wondering why, it's because a lot of them are like very depressed. They suffer from like mental illnesses. They've got a lot of fuck shit in their life, but they're like just this crazy group that like understands and overcomes it, which is like the neatest thing to me. But also like I like to take my inspiration, like my original viewpoint on like YouTube and streaming and all that shit came from like the Vanoss crew. And what had happened was they basically slowly slipped apart. And they might be getting back together and like figuring shit out. It's just, I think it's been described as like an off season, and Vanoss has been putting shit up about it. And I feel like that kind of sucks for him. But shit happens. But no, I eventually switched from the full Vanoss crew to just Wildcat and Minnie, and from Minnie I kind of transitioned into Smitty, and from Smitty I transitioned into Fitz, and then grew to love the Misfits and Swagger Souls. And that's kind of how my whole like YouTube outlook transitioned, and it was kind of neat. So basically, whenever I do my solo streams, I take a lot of inspiration from like Smitty's rants. Oh, what the fuck? I take a lot of inspiration from Smitty's rants. but I also kind of like to bring in like topics and things that are like currently going on in my daily life, kind of like the Misfits podcast. So I try to blend the two. And I know that most of the time it mostly goes towards like a bit of a rant, but sometimes I feel like I'm able to blend it nicely. It's just like whenever something's going on really bad in my life, I feel like I go more into the rant. But if it's like relaxed and sometimes I get a buddy on, I feel like it really transitions into like a mix of both.
Sentient life form approaches.
But no, I try to structure it like that, but it kind of goes off on a mind of its own, and I think that that's one of the things that's at least a little bit interesting. What the fuck? It's at least just a little bit interesting about all that, and yeah, I think slowly I'm getting accustomed and used to all this stuff, and eventually I'll perfect my style. But like, as I said, I've only been streaming for about a year, and I don't edit my videos when I upload them to YouTube. I'm purely streaming, but I also want like to archive my vids, so I put them on YouTube, and I got to basically an associate or whatever the fuck it is on Twitch, and then that's kind of where I've been at for a while. And I'm hoping maybe I'll get some more channel growth when something happens. Like, I had a lot of channel growth whenever I did my Far Cry streams. Or not Far Cry. Fable streams. Fable 1 through 3 during that summer before I started college at Hayes, and before, like, I feel like a lot of, like, the reason I transitioned more into rants is, like, this last fucking year has just been brutal for me. Like, I've dealt with so much shit, and like a lot of things that could go wrong did go wrong, and a lot of friendships ended. Probably sent me to check on Eden Space Center days ago, but I've been sidetracked. These Goon Squad thugs are swarming all over these parts. I've had several run-ins with them now, all violent. To originate from North, but their exact origins are a mystery. Their methods seem totally chaotic and lack any tactic or planning. Their targets and movements suggest some grand strategy behind it all. Some locations are ransacked and abandoned, and others try to... Oh, Eden is such a place. I'll try to sneak in tonight to try to find out who's giving them orders. Huh. I think it's neat that you get to find, like, fallen rangers. Because, like, you were the only ranger in the first game, and, like, now you're kind of like the last second gen ranger, and all the first gens are captured, which I think is pretty fucking cool. And I mean, even though you don't get to have a whole lot of interaction between rangers, you at least get to like see like what happened to them on their missions, and there's at least some depth. Also, like, there's a big debacle right now. One thing I do like about my like streams and stuff is I'm actually pretty knowledgeable about game history and stuff, and like I love to talk about current game culture, like as like a large group and stuff like that, and how we're slowly evolving, and like we're becoming the new trend. Like, we've got fucking gaming movies and stuff like that coming out, and like they're actually getting some justice. And like when people were super negative about the Sonic appearance, like they listened because they realized that was a major audience. Like that's how much fucking influence we have. And like years ago we couldn't have changed shit, but now it's awesome. And like, I know people give Fortnite a bad rap, but I do think it popularized gaming culture and media. So that's at least cool. But I do think it's also like led a lot of people who I don't think deserve like as much attention or feedback. And like, I don't know, I'm not the biggest fan of Ninja, but that's not because it's popular to fucking hate him. I don't think he's the best guy, purely because like his comments about women and shit like that have always kind of just rubbed me the wrong way. Like, he's made comments about women, like, he gets, like, him being a big baby, I think, is my biggest problem. I don't like people that bitch for dumb things, like, bitching about video games, like, oh, come on, man, fuck that, and then, like, making it public, and then, like, him and everyone, like, quitting Fortnite because they added an update that caters to the majority of players who aren't, like, professionals. And it's like, hey, the one where it rewards you for getting, like, kill heavy and killing people, mostly catered to pros, not really casuals. And I sided with Fortnite on that, not with, like, the gaming community. And I think that, like, Fortnite swallowed up some YouTubers who I think had their own thing going for a while and were really good. Like Wildcat and Marcel. I feel like they've kind of slipped into a slower end of... a lower end of, like... The problem is like, it's got such an impact that it's become the only thing supposed gamers watch. It's not the only thing gamers watch, but guess what? There's this whole new market for fucking people, and everyone wants to fucking watch Fortnite, even people that weren't gamers. And my big problem with Fortnite and like Battle Royale games, is like, they're fun for the first months, and then everyone no-lifes it, or they don't add anything new, and no one ever plays it again. Fortnite kind of changes up the map and the style, and sometimes the weapons, so that's the reason it's lived the longest, so I'll give it some credit. But it has made a big impact in popularizing gaming community, I will give it that. But not all of it's positive. And I think that that's something that needs to be said. Because in doing so, all those people who you can remember from like back in the old days of fucking school and shit, where you're like, man, I remember this dude used to beat me up because I played video games. Now they're fucking playing video games and posting shit on Snapchat, and you're like, aren't you the same people that used to beat people up for this shit? Like, it's basically caused this ending loop of because everyone else does it, we should too. And it's like that old comment about like, if your friend jumped off a bridge, would you do it too? Oh, Jesus. So it's basically like the goods and the bads. You can never have one or the other. It's always a mix of both. But I feel like it's pretty fucking even with that game, and neither side's coming out on top. Which I don't know if that's necessarily a good or a bad thing. But I do know that that game's not my cup of tea. And like, we tried playing Apex the other day, and we haven't played that shit in months. So we were just getting destroyed. But the conversations we were having were like funny, humorous, and like, we were having a good time. I can honestly say we were having a damn good time. And like, there were some emotional sections where like, the whole like, my friend and his personal life with his fiance, and like us having our intervention with him, because like it's been a downward slope for the last few years, and he's basically lost a dad because of her, and she's been a negative influence, but he loves her so damn much. But basically she's lazy as shit, doesn't have a fucking job, and likes to get her fucked up friends to ruin his friends' lives, which is why no one can stand her, and everyone's like, fuck you.
One more for the logs.
My drone. Oh. So that's what it is, and I should destroy them. Good to know. So yeah, that was an interesting thing. I feel like some of it was funny, at least the build-up to, but I feel like whenever I got the phone call, it kind of slipped into a more serious tone, which isn't everyone's bit, because I know, like, whenever you get older, you want to leave all that high school drama shit behind, but you gotta remember, like, a lot of that high school drama isn't just because it's a fucking high school, it's also because that's just how fucking people are. And like, you think you're gonna escape that shit as an adult, but like, drama will follow you fucking everywhere. And like, fucking like it. And like, I'll admit, my friend groups have had its fair share of drama. Like, without communication, there's always a lot of fucking issues that could happen. And like recently, our little like friend group having its like communication issue with each other. Oh, this is the one from the fucking game trailer. This is the base from the game trailer, I think. Basically, like, whenever our communication kind of went a little awry, and Sean and like all of us struggles with mental health, so there's always issues. But like he's also not super talkative, and like he'll be like, hey, it's just kind of how he is, and we've made peace with that. Where the fuck is everybody? This place is weird. But like, yeah, it's no communication. It can stress out fucking friend groups and stuff, and like, that's why friend groups always got to be like there for each other and be like, hey, what's going on, man? But like, the way we function, we're not always like that, and I'll admit it. I'll be the first to admit it. Our friend group is dysfunctional, but it's not intentional. It's just like we're all on different wavelengths, but we do have one commonality. We all struggle with depression and shit like that. And I think that's one thing that keeps us close together, because we know that we're always there for each other. But another thing is like whenever a friend among any of our groups hurts us, it deeply impacts us. Because I think me, as well as most of my friends, put a lot of our friends over family. And most people would be like, well, that's fucked up. And I'm like, well, yeah, it is. But the reason I do it is because my family isn't the best. Like, well, I guess I can't go here yet. It says use hand scanner, but it's blocking me off. Well, damn. I guess I can't conquer this place. That's a shame. Maybe there's another way up. But no, it's just, there's always fucking drama in people's lives. And like, I'm one of those people who when I get hurt, I'll say shit I don't mean. Which doesn't help the situation. But also, like, the recent events with me and two of my friends and my friend's fiance all like coming up and acting on shit like that shit really sent me for a fucking wild ride. And I don't agree with it. And yeah, I mean, fuck, that's just kind of how shit goes. What a mute. Is there just a single solitary mutant? Okay. It's just, I've had a lot of problems with family, and I will admit I've had a lot of problems with friends in the past. Like, my biggest no-nos for my friend groups are like, hey, don't ever cheat on your girlfriend. Because even though I've had a lot of bad experiences with like women and girlfriends cheating and like really just shitty situations, ergo kind of like the one I'm in now, I don't condone my friends to do the same acts those people do when I say that, like, you know, there's like religious people who like have certain things they will never allow. I'm not religious, but I do have certain values, and my values are I don't want a man to ever hit a woman unless it's in self-defense and that bitch has got a knife or he's in actual physical fucking danger. I want a man who will treat a woman like garbage as a friend. Keep in mind these are all friend requirements. This isn't like something else. And shit like that. And if I even find out they pulled some shady shit, cheated on their girlfriend or some stuff, and I'll admit I have one friend who's been my friend for fucking ages, and he's struggled with some of that shit, but he's never like taken the leap. Basically,
standby mode initiated.
Right now I've probably got a set set group of friends, and I'm gonna go from the ones I have known for years and the ones I play Xbox with, and kind of give you a thing of like our histories and stuff. I feel like this is needed. This is a thing that, like, so whenever you pop into a stream and you're like, wait, he was mad at him for something, why are they talking now? Or there was something that happened, why did he forgive it? There are instances where like something happens and
Come back soon,
I will forgive it, and that's very common with one friend in particular. I have a friend, and I'm just gonna go through the list. I have a friend named Caden, and he's had a lot of problems with women. He got engaged, and then the chick just ditched him. And like, I will admit, there have been times where he's just been like so emotionally fucked. He doesn't know what to do. His family situation's about as fucked as mine. And if anyone ever gets me, it's him. And he found out about all this shit. And me and Caden were friends. We've been friends for years. And he lived in the same town I went to college at in the beginning, Dodge City. And he was like, he was there for me. He helped me out with like vehicle stuff. He's like a mechanic dude. He's just a fucking chill guy. Like, if I could ever get him to play video games, you would love him. He's just funny, very southern, but he's also very respectful, and that's one of the reasons I've appreciated him. And he's dealt with a shitty family situation like me, where his family's a little fucked, and I will admit, if anyone can resonate with me on a level that I would say is the highest, it would be him, because of shared experiences. And like, we used to go to fucking Garden City all the time and fuck around and stuff. And he had a girlfriend in high school who like pulled some shady shit and like started shit between him and a friend of ours named Javen, who I am no longer friends with, and I will go into the history of all this shit. I think I just chose Caden as a starting point. I was friends with Caden throughout all of high school, and then he had that girlfriend who was shady as fuck, who basically kind of pulled some shady shit behind his back and was treating him like garbage, and just wasn't a cool person. I can at least say that. And he really deserved better, and then she decided that she was jealous of his friends, so she thought she'd fuck up his friend group, which she kind of succeeded in doing. She like split him from most of his friends, and he didn't want that, but like it just fucking happened.
It's going to take.
Caught a bright glare up ahead. Not a rifle scope or a hubcap. Something bigger.
The Shrouded use solar panels to power up their tech. If that's what you're seeing, I suggest you destroy them, or they'll use all that stored power to mess you up.
But basically, she pulled some shady shit, started a fight between him and a friend by playing on both of their emotions. It was a friend named Javen. He wasn't the best friend. He did help out at times, and like, we did have a good relationship at the beginning, but he like took a downward slope with women and got creepy and did some stuff I don't agree with, so like we ended up ending our friendship. But basically, she played both of them to the point where she tried to act like she wanted to get with Javen. And Javen fell for it, and then was trying to steal her from underneath Caden. It was fucked up on Javen's end, but she initiated all of this. I don't agree with Javen in this situation. So basically, everyone just kind of shunned Javen for a bit, but like, I said that like I think she pulled the fucking move, and then like he didn't find out till they started splitting. She like fucked with him, and he started contemplating other women. He never cheated, but like he contemplated it, and I told him, I'm like, one, that's fucked. She tried to play it off as if he actually went to do it. He didn't go to do it, but he thought about it, which I told him was fucked, but I told him he didn't go through with it, so it's all good. I just said, just be careful, because he's towing a line, and I don't agree with that shit, and I don't want to fucking deal with it. But throughout all of this, he'd still been a fucking amazing friend. And then we had a friend named Zach through high school who, basically what had happened was I set him up with his girlfriend, and this is like 3 girlfriends down the line, from one of them I asked out. But basically, I'd set him up with this girl, and then like a few months into their relationship, they'd been dating for maybe 4 or 5 months. I was like, hey man, I'm gonna try to date your triple X. Not even like first ex-girlfriend. It was like 3 ex-girlfriends ago, and we had all been like friends and stuff. So I was like, is that cool? And he goes, yeah. So I go to ask her out, and we're about to go on our date, and then like he just starts sending me death threats and shit, and then he plays out that like I was trying to undermine him and fuck him over, a bunch of bullshit petty stuff. Where I was like, dude, generally if this bothers you, I just won't date her. I'm like, I just figured, because we had a rule, it's like nobody dates somebody's ex, but like I asked him, I'm like, she's 3 exes down the line, I set you up with your current girlfriend, is it alright if I maybe try dating her? I know it didn't work out for you, but you guys have stayed friends, so I know that the situation hasn't been spurned. I basically asked. I didn't go through with it until I got an answer, and he said, yeah, that's okay. So I did, and then I just got like this hateful fucking message, and then like death threats, and I went, oh, well, fuck, dude. I respect our friendship, I don't want to end it. What do you want me to do? And he goes, fuck off, I'm gonna take all our friends, take all of my friends, and he's basically gonna make them pick sides. And I went, well, that's fucking stupid. And I'm like, we can talk like about this like normal fucking adults. And I said, this is just fucking dumb. And I said, I haven't even taken her out or anything like that. Like, nothing has been initiated yet, man. We're still good, but and that kind of like made ties with friends harder, but I think Caden stayed through me through all of it, so that was nice. We eventually wore off ties with Zach just because like it was like he got a little sketch, and then he just started hanging out with all these like alcoholics and shit, and he just got a little fucked. I gotta find the last purple chest and then activate some kind of solar panel shit. So like we slowly favored him because he became an alcoholic and he started hanging out with all the jocks who like failed and flunked out of shit, and like he kept telling us we would hang out, and like he apologized to me after all that shit he pulled, but not like for a long fucking time. I think it was only because he realized that like the friend group was tired of the shit and was like, this has gone on long enough. And then like he kept saying we would hang out, so I drove up like 2 hours to go see him one time, and he like left me hanging for an entire weekend, and I went, what the fuck, dude? Like, I was pissed. But all in all, Caden stayed through with me through this. Caden moves up to Dodge, I go up to Dodge for school, we're still friends for 2 more years, and I'm like, dude, this is fucking dope. It's cool that we like are able to keep our friendship through all this. And he's like, yeah, I think this is sick too. And I'm like, yeah. He gets with a girl after, like, okay, so the first year at Dodge, he wasn't actually up there. He didn't come up till maybe halfway to the end of the year of my first year. He's up there for the entirety of my second year. But also I'm there during the summers because we start our 8 training early. So he's with this girl after getting, like, left with his fiance. He gets with this one girl who I'm like, wow, this is probably the best you'll ever do. I'm like, don't fuck this up. And basically, like, she treats him like garbage, and, like, he's afraid she's cheating on him, so, like, he does that contemplating shit, second-guessing stuff again. He doesn't go through with anything. I told him I don't agree, and sure enough, recently, right now, him and her had broken up because she split with him and got with someone within, like, a week. So it was kind of like his fears were realized, but, like, he acted unprofessional because of it. And I told him I didn't agree with that. But he did find out about all the shit that's been going on right now, and he's like, wow, dude, that's fucked, because basically, and this is gonna bring around the arc of Javen and Jericho. Basically, Jericho and me had known each other back in high school. He got bullied a lot, and I was one of the few people who didn't treat him like utter dog shit, and was actually genuinely kind to him. And I think he generally respected it. And then, like, we were never, like, big buddies, but we were nice and friendly. We had classes together. And, like, we bonded. And we were cool. And, like, I was roommates with Javen, at that time still Javen's friend. After all that shit had happened, I was like, maybe I can forgive it. You've been my friend for a while. I'm giving you one chance. Is basically what I do. And so that's what ended up happening with that. Basically we became roommates, and he got like super like psychotic, like fucking
Crack those panels. Good.
agitated with me. I had made sure that like, hey, my video games and stuff isn't bothering you. He's like, no. He got an attitude with me and just decided to tell me fuck off. And I mean, sometimes friendships get strained with roommate stuff, and I figured that was probably what it is. So he switches over to be roommates with Jericho, who had gone to the school and I had reconnected with after being like a fucking prick and like fucking shaving his facial hair in the fucking sink with our fucking dishes, and like just being an asshole, talking shit and starting shit in the room. And I'm like, maybe we just shouldn't be roommates. Maybe that's what our problem is. And he's like, oh, okay. So he becomes roommates with Jericho and treats Jericho like shit. And like me and Jericho bond more. And it's like, hey, fuck Javen, basically. I think it's just kind of like you and me, man. And then we were like, yeah, we're cool with that. And like we had this like shared spite against Javen because like all the fucked up shit he was doing. He was like trying to fuck chicks on Tinder and stuff, and like being just really nasty and raunchy, and like going against everything he'd ever believed in because he was like super religious and would preach to you, but then he would go about like doing all these fucked up things that were like more fucked up than what I do when I'm at my lowest, and like just completely ignoring it and like being like, oh, that's perfectly fucking fine. And we were like, no, man, fuck that. Like that's not okay. Get your shit straight. And like he just kind of like turned what he knew, became a giant asshole. It was not pretty to say the least. And basically I just decided he was no longer my friend. And like then before he finally left, he stole a girl Jericho had been talking to. And Jericho was like emotionally distraught, was like, dude, man, what the fuck? And I was like, one day he'll get what's coming to him, man. But no, I'm here for you. And he's like, thanks, man. It's nice to know I have friends and stuff. Like, there was a shared fucking respect. And a year to that day, which is currently that same person, that fucking Jericho, pulled all of this shit and is fucking with someone that he knows I was with and didn't end the fucking relationship and got with another person in between, all in the span of like a few fucking days, and did the same thing to me that Javen fucking did, and he thinks it's fucking okay. Which is just, it's not. It's not, and he fucking knows it. So, Caden calls me up the other day and he's like, hey man, you've been getting fucked over more than anybody because like one of the persons you care about the most in this world is very close to dying. And she's a brain tumor, so when they're doing like all her heart surgery and stuff, that comes into play a lot. And like she's generally, right now it's not looking too good. And I'm gonna be honest, even if it goes okay, I don't know how much she'll last after that. And like that, I will admit, that is taking its toll on me. And that has been a fear from day one whenever we had to put her on the diet because her stomach was slowly killing her. It hurts, man. So he calls me up and he's like, hey, I'm gonna be down Saturday. And I'm like, good, we're gonna go out for fucking drinks. And he's like, I'll be 21 then. And I'm like, yeah, good. What the fuck is this? I got a notification. No, I'm not worried about it. But no, like all this shit happens, and then like I basically swore off with Zach and Javen, and now I'm pretty sure I'm fucking done with Jericho. Like that shit's fucked that he thinks it's okay to pull that shit, and like him having to deal with the fact that this shit happened to him, and he knows what it's fucking like, and he also knows like the health shit, and she supposedly told him all the shit between us. Like that shit's fucked. It's a whole fucked situation. None of it's okay, and the fact that he even contemplates that it's fine shows how fucked he's become. And I don't agree with any of it. And I'm generally hurt. And he knows that, but he doesn't fucking care. he doesn't fucking care. So he's been harassing me for the last few days, driving around my fucking house with her in a fucking Jeep. And it's been shit. Although, from high school, I had 3 other friends that I think have like a bigger impact and have stuck around. And those friends would be Ryan and Luis. Like, me and Luis have had our rise and falls just because, like, he's not religious, but damn, he'll fucking preach to you about, like, shit that's right or wrong. But, like, he constantly goes against it, and, like, that's been a big deal. It's like, practice what you preach. It's basically the only real problem I've had with Luis. That, him choosing women over his friends, has been kind of shitty, but, like, I feel like the dude needs a win, and he just hasn't been able to get that. And I feel for him. I really do. And like, that's why I'm always mad at him, but I'll always forgive him. And that's the same with Caden, because Caden's always had my fucking back. And the same with Ryan. Like, after that whole roommate situation got a little sketch that I've gone through multiple times. Like, basically, me and Ryan and Luis were like friends throughout all of high school. And like, we've just been there for each other, and like, we can relate to each other a lot. Mostly on like the whole, we're all nerdy, and like, we all have our own problems, but like, if anything ever went to shit, we know that if somebody gave another one of us a call, we'd be there in a fucking heartbeat.
Destination reached.
So I think that's always been a little reassuring. Same with Ryan. It's just like, we all get busy, and like, we all struggle with our depression. And I really think out of all my friends, me, Ryan, Luis, and me and Sean struggle with depression the most out of anyone else. I think Josiah's got it, but like, he's got a different sort of it, and like, he doesn't talk about it as much, so like, I can't really get a grasp about it. And he's one of those people who he will not tell you what the fuck's going on. Like, he's gonna keep that shit to the grave until he ends up with someone, and he'll tell them. He's stated that multiple times. He's like, that's just how I am, and that's just what'll happen. And it's perfectly understandable. If that's what he wants to do, that's what he wants to do. I'm not going to judge him for it. But basically, me and Ryan and Luis have been friends, and like, yeah, we've had our little hiccups, but I think we'll always be friends. I do know that like, me and Ryan sometimes get tired of like hypocritical shit Luis says, and like Luis kind of leaving us out to dry, but definitely there's a very strong bond with me and Ryan, and like, there's a bond that's strong with me and Luis. It's just, it always gets kind of pushed every now and then, and it's just kind of irritating. And then there's one more friend that I've had since high school that I can really relate to and stuff, and his name's Dalton. And he was my college roommate after Javen left. He became my next roommate, and then he didn't last super long. And then I had another roommate who was but I'd known Dalton since high school, and he was a bit of a fuck up, but like, he was humble about it. And like, he admitted to it, but he grew the fuck up in this last year, and like, me and Caden have really like reconnected with him. So like, they've been constantly asking me to go up and party with them and have a fun time and go to the rodeo clubs and do dumb shit and meet chicks. And honestly, I feel like one of these times I just need to take a fucking weekend off to do that shit, because like, they're like fucking family to me, and they fucking know it. And Dalton and Caden and me have like probably like seen each other in person the most out of any other of my friends in high school, besides living with Ryan, of course. For that short while I did, almost an entire semester. But no, it's just like all that shit. And like, yeah, Caden calls me up and he's like, hey man, you need a fucking break. And basically, yeah, so that catches you up on like the whole Jericho and all that stuff. I had 3 other friends in high school in my earlier years before I went to Texhoma, and those were Alan, Eli, and Carlos. And Alan and his fiance are the 2 that this drama shit sorts out. And me and Alan have known each other for 6 years, as well as Jericho, but I was actually close to Alan from the beginning. And I'm still close to him now. But yeah, that chick is like kind of fucked his life. And I don't fucking agree with her. I think she's a bitch. And I'm not just like, oh, break up with her because she's a bitch. I'm like, that chick is generally ruining your life in every relationship you've ever had, except for the one with her. She is parasitic, and she will never get a job. And she's letting people who won't get jobs either come and fucking stay at your fucking house and mooch off you, and he works to support her and their kid, and at any moment he would take in her other kid too that's from another fucking person. He's a fucking good guy, and Carlos is too, and so is Eli. We've all like known each other for a while. We used to play Halo 3 back in the day and Halo 4 and really just fucking jam out and have good times. We'd play custom games. Like, that was my original high school friendship I had, and that was like a little triage of people. Now, in the video game side of things, I've got Juicy, who I've known since like my first year at Ulysses. But I actually met him earlier based off of a Uno game, or a few Uno games we used to play back in the day, but he had a different profile. But all his profiles like start off with Juicy. And he's a bit of an ass, but he's my ass. If you catch my drift. And I love that dude to pieces, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. And like, yeah, we don't play often, but when we do, we fucking enjoy it. And like, we'll piss each other off, but we'll never be like actually genuinely mad at each other. And I think that that's something I've always known to appreciate. He rubs everyone else the wrong way, but as a friend, he's one of the best people I've ever had. He's my longest online friend, and I don't think our relationship will truly ever end. I've got Thomas and his crew, but like, they're sporadic because they're for fucking ARC and shit like that, so you can never keep a beat on them. They'll pop in and out.
Feeling good.
They're not a constant. And like, the only reason Juicy isn't a constant is because right now our work schedules are contradicting as fuck. And we've just been dealing with some shit. Put the fucking bird over there.
Standby mode initiated.
But no, it's like it's and then like I've got Josiah, who I'll fucking argue with, but I love him to death, and like, he's one of my like intellectual friends that I can really just have serious conversations with and never go anything wrong, especially political conversations, which some people aren't like really interested in that, but we're both like historians, so like history and politics have always interested us, so like that's an interesting aspect we always have. And Sean is like my crazy fucking friend who I love to death, and like right now he's dealing with like wisdom teeth removal. He's had a high stress situation, kind of like me, but his shit started way sooner, and I don't know if he's still currently dealing with it. We haven't really talked to him a whole lot. It's basically after finals. I think they're just now finishing their finals, and then after that I think shit'll slowly get back to normal. And we might see Sean more often. It's just right now his sleep schedule's fucked, and he's just had to deal with some shit. So it's like, a bit of a mixed bag of shit. But yeah, no. I split off with Logan and Slade just because like they're toxic individuals, and like me and my brother reconnected after like he pulled a similar like, I don't know, he wasn't in he was in a relationship that he loved the woman like uncontrollably, but then he broke up with her because her family got in the way, and he resented it completely, and I knew he resented it, but he couldn't come to terms with it. And then like there's always been a little bit of spite because I moved out of my house way back when. And I think that that's always kind of been an influencer. And I think, honestly, he kind of got with that girl to piss me off. The one after her, which he realized he didn't have, like, feelings for her like he did for the other one. And he called it off, and I give him props for that. It's just the way he described the situation in the beginning. I thought he was pulling fuck shit, but apparently he stayed gentlemanly. So I told him he was still good. And Nomio's a friend through a friend, like, Nomio's a friend through Ryan and their little D&D group in town. And he works a lot, so like, as we've progressed in our lives, it's harder for us to play constantly, but there are a few of us that like, our work schedules are like, relatable. And I think that kind of gets you to where I am now. But yeah, it's just been like kind of a little shit show recently, and I don't have a big group of friends, but I know most of them won't stab me in the back. I guess if any friend was to stab me in the back, I guess I could live with Jericho the most because, like, I don't know. I'm not as close to him as I am the rest. There's one more chest I'm missing, apparently. Oh, it's up here. I don't know what is over there, but there's definitely something. So I'm gonna figure out what that is. But yeah, no, it's basically all that shit's just kind of come around full circle. And like, I think I'm gonna probably try as much as I can to hang out with Caden a lot more. And yeah, it's just all that shit. And like with my grandmother's declining health and all that, I don't think I was well enough off to mentally cope with all this shit. So like, I tried venting with my dad, but I didn't really get the chance. And then like my aunt and uncle, who have been dicks to me for 21 fucking years. It was just like, they knew that my grandma was struggling from mental issues, and then they were just like, hey, let's take a jab at him when he's at its lowest, and they're supposed to be fucking
Systems
family.
activating.
Which they act like family's supposed to be held dear and held near and dear, but like, I think they're like
We're
some of the
here
biggest
for
people who are like backstabby family cunts. And I just told my dad, I'm like, hey, I had a shit holiday because some of my mom's side and some of my dad's side pulled some fuck shit on Christmas and like really just fucking were assholes.
Good luck out there.
And they just kind of fucked me over. And like my grandmother's my mom's siblings like all like hid them hanging out together from her, which yes, I can agree that my mom could be an ass and unbearable at times, but she doesn't deserve to like have her family keep secrets behind her back. That's not cool for anybody. And they like all like went and hung out without her and left her in the fucking dark and were just complete and total pricks. And then they told me like, hey, keep it quiet. And I'm like, aren't you guys super religious? Shouldn't you be telling the fucking truth and owning up? It's like, I at least tell her you're gonna fucking hang out and you don't want to be around her. At least have clear communication. You owe her that. She's family. And I'm like, and I don't like my mom, but I'll definitely treat her better than you, which is fucked.
Activating.
Because mine and my mother's relationship is probably one of the most fucked things throughout the entirety of my life. And like, actually right now, when everyone else is kicking me in the fucking dirt and pavement and breaking my fucking teeth, somehow my mom's being the best to me. And it's really confusing. I'll have to admit, it's super confusing. But like, I will admit, I have given her a second chance and I'm slowly warming up to her. And honestly, besides my dad, I think I need someone else because when my grandparents pass, I really won't have anybody besides friends. And I will admit, like, Josiah's like my big buddy I vent to. It's just what I've done. And yeah, I think that's basically it. Oh yeah, there was a tower up here. I'll loop back to it. Try to kill it. But no, just dealing with all that shit and stuff, and then like the confusing factors. That is basically what I've dealt with, and I've kind of told all of this within an hour. Kind of in a rant, but also in a storytelling thing, which is kind of what I've been going for recently with the whole like trying to blend the styles of Smitty's rants with the Misfits podcast tech styles.
Destination reached. This girl needs some standby mode initiated. Initiate manual repairs.
Come on, asshole, get back up. You're wasting my fucking rage counter. Oh, come the fuck on. Oh, at least I get a defib out of that. Motherfucker, really?
Destination reached.
Fire your goddamn missiles.
Standby mode initiated.
Alright, good. What the fuck? Really, motherfucker? How much health do you have, asshole? Fuck you, dickhead. I need a bigger gun. I really do. I'm pretty sure I get a rocket launcher at some point. And if I would have bought the deluxe edition, I get the BFG, which is technically cheating, but god damn, it's a good gun. But no, now that I've got my little rant session out of the way, also, a little bit of a current gaming tidbit you might not be aware of. This game is in the middle of a debacle right now, as it has a worse review rating than its previous game, Rage 1. And a lot of the blame for that is a lot of... okay, so basically this game, what it is the creative styles of Doom mixed with the creative styles of Rage and the open world style of a Fallout game, but without a main focus on story and most of the focus on gameplay, which is what it should be judged for. What everyone on game sites are judging it for is its story. And it is a shooter, much like Doom, made by the same company, id, so it's like rocking a 70 in review right now, and that's purely because of the fucked shit that they've done. And it's basically just like, game reviewers aren't gamers. I'm gonna fucking say it. They fucking suck, and half of them plagiarize their work, which is why IGN's always in the fucking middle of a debacle or firing somebody because they've plagiarized or stolen someone else's fucking work. Like, they're fucking scammers. The one game reviews I'll fucking judge are gonna be from channels that don't have the fucking game review stamp because they're actual fucking gamers and they know like, hey, if you like these games, you'll like fucking this. Like Angry Joe reviews, I think are pretty good.
Activating.
Like I sometimes think he judges a little harshly, but it's fair. It's harsh but fair. And like I feel like the No when they talk about video games, which the No has changed over to the Funhouse crew, but even they still hold up to those ideals. So yeah, it's the state of video games right now. We're in that like middle gray area where everyone's figuring shit out about video games, but we still got some archaic fucking systems.
Again.
Come back soon, Walker.
Everything you stand for. Yep, fuck you too, asshole. Taste meaty chunks. Ooh, wow, that sensitivity went to shit fast. Okay. There we go. Okay, so basically I'm trying to make my way to I think it's this guy. Yeah. It's that guy. And he's actually from the first game. He was the resistance leader that helped you out, and you were the pretty much, basically, apparently the authority was compromised of a bunch of like, and it's an interesting aspect. Basically, in the first game, it starts off with a meteor coming to crash against the Earth and pretty much wipe out what we think is all life. People do survive the basically destruction, and so it's not like a nuclear holocaust, but it's damn near just as bad all around the globe. Everything's fucked. So like a bunch of people get put into cryo sleep, and they are giving them like these crazy suits and like superpower type shit, so that way they can reform the Earth. And it's getting terraformed while they're all in sleep. But the Authority takes over and kind of fucks some shit. And yeah, and the Authority is compromised of like some of these ARC guys that we are, and like the original government leaders and politicians that were corrupt. So it's kind of like the Enclave, but a different vibe, which is interesting. I will give it that. It is very interesting.
Meteor.
And you come out of your fucking arc and you're the only survivor, and then basically you fight against the Authority with Marshall and his crew, and you make your way to basically what I would say is the Authority stronghold, and you activate a signal that activates all the arcs, and that's it. The general that fucks everything up at the start of this game is mentioned in that, and apparently he's immortal because he's like part robot. Still interesting aspects. But yeah, the world wasn't huge, it wasn't open and immersive like this. But it definitely had the potential to be, and I think that's why they explored it in this.
Hey, you look tough enough. You interested in some wet work? You know, knock some heads, shoot some 200 beauties in the paste.
Not looking for a job. I'm here to see John Marshall.
Yeah, as it happens, he's the one looking for a skilled trigger puller. We got muty problems in Gun Barrel, see? And we can't do shit until we've fucking rectified that.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Where do I find him?
He's in the Dud Primer Tavern. Always in the Dud Primer. Can't miss him. Old, scarred, mean.
His basic...
Lobo Peg, Lobo Peeper, half spares,
Lobo
half guy,
Peg.
you know.
Heading there now.
Oh, whatever that false little greed about tells you, don't try the slime bogle chimichanga. Unless you want to
Slime boggle chimichanga.
puke your guts out of a thoroughfare.
Nobody goes down the stink hole without Marshall's say-so. You want to go dig the gunk? Talk to the man.
Whoa, bounties. This is neat.
We're literally
I
knee-deep in shit.
feel like this is nice.
And our ranger waltzes in after ignoring us for years. Fisted.
What are you talking about? Who are you?
I'm Zam Wilson, and I run the Gun Barrel Militia so Marshall don't have to. Listen, I'm not complaining if the high and mighty rangers want to get their hands dirty. I have an urgent situation up north. The Yeoman farm has been overrun by raiders. Bad, since they're a pretty big local food supplier. All my people are needed here in case the muties make another push. So can you help?
Well, since you asked so nicely.
Yeah, with that attitude, fuck off. Trader General.
I got it right here. The deal of a lifetime.
Nice bowler hat.
How do you know I'm from Vineland?
Grenade
You
schematic.
got the outfit, see? I recognize the Dudlers. Uniform like that. Only Rangers get them. That means you with Prowley. And that means you can deal with me.
Okay.
Come again.
There's supposed to be someone who's supposed to be able to upgrade my shit in towns, I think. But I haven't found anyone like
I
that
know that
yet.
look. You're a survivor too, right? I just recognized that look in your eyes.
Nosebleed
Lots of
Kate.
people, bad stuff happened to you. Me too. I lost my entire scaver team. All gone. Just like that. Now I'm here drowning in swill. Too scared to do anything about it.
What happened to your team?
We were scavving, looking for scrap. Found a real promising deposit just south of here. We didn't bother checking with our scouts. Got greedy, I guess. So down we went. We didn't get far before the giant was on top of us. Half the
Oh, they
team
found a fucking
dead
mutant
and a few
stronghold.
heartbeats, squashed like bugs. I don't know how I got out of there alive. The giant. The scouts call it Lug the Nut. Big, mean, mutant freak. If I had your
Wait, I
guns and
killed
gear,
Lug
I'd go
Nut.
back and kill it.
Lug is dead. I thought you should know.
Dead? I can't believe it. I have nothing to offer you except my thanks.
How did you not know it was a mutant stronghold? Wait, was that it? So I guess citizens let you know where shit in the world is too. That's nice. This fucking game's immersive. You get fucking bounties. You get fucking missions. You have upgrade trees for every person. Like, shit is fleshed more the fuck out than any other open world game, and they give this game a fucking 70. Fuck off.
And take in the face of a man who was lost.
Is there fucking... Are there no subtitles? Are you fucking with me?
Still.
Ah.
I used to be.
Oh,
a
look,
man of
Josiah's
means,
online.
you know. I ran a little trading post out there in the sticks. Did good. Supported my family. Then one day, the goons
Wait for it
squad
to
just rolled on in and took everything. Killed my people right before my eyes. And I didn't even raise a finger.
Wow, an actual like sniff and
Like a
I can hear the phlegm. Like the voice acting's great. The animations are
goons
meh.
lately.
Well, they used to be small time. Nothing to worry about. Now they're
Hello.
everywhere.
Little bitches in
Fancy
his own
guns
party.
and lots of supplies. And they
I
kill without
tried to
mercy.
invite other people,
They
but
recruit
everyone's kind of
aggressively
out.
too, swallowing up smaller
yeah.
outfits. Joining
I tried
them
inviting
alive
Sean,
is
but
the
I don't
deal.
know what the fuck. I don't know. I haven't. His sleep schedule's apparently super fucked, so I haven't been able to get a hold of him. Although in
Oh, yeah.
this stream, I kind of like
It would make me
recollected
feel
on like my history of online friends and like real life friends and kind of where it's
Yeah.
kind of come to currently. So like basically, I told my whole like friendship
Dead.
journey.
Honestly, I wonder, are we real life friends or online friends? We did meet.
You and Sean are both.
Cool.
But I still consider you like online friends categorical wise because I mostly see you online. But that doesn't. But I did distinguish that like you're one of my few friends I can actually like vent and talk to.
Yeah.
So I kind of went like you and my friend Caden
Breed.
and Ryan
I'm Roaring
and
Success,
Sean are like
the famous
and Juicy
trade
are kind of like my best
Come
friends.
down all
like,
the way from
that's it.
Wellspring to recruit for a daring mission against the Goon Squad. Wait.
Yeah, so I have like 5 really close friends, but I basically went up like my whole deal because like basically
Do you like the Goon Squad?
what had happened
Of
with all
course
that
not.
shit recently,
They're
I was
blind
like,
on the earth.
yeah, it's pretty fucked, and I described the situation of how we ended one friend group because one dude did this shit, and then that kid that I told you pulled all this shit recently and came to my fucking house the other morning, he basically repeated the same things that he bitched about and stuff, and I like told the events thoroughly. I relayed like how I met a lot of my friends or what they were to me and stuff like that.
Yeah, through drug
I
deals.
generally
Eh.
shoot Goon Squad for free.
Through drug deals.
Commendable. But terrible
Yeah.
business.
Anyway,
But
I think you
continue.
can see the
but
smoke
no.
from here.
Well done. Applaud the nice Ranger Patsy.
But no, I just kind of went over that stuff. And yeah, I just felt like something I should probably do, because I feel a lot better today. Now that I got all that shit kind of out of my system. Even though I got worse news today about my grandma, which kind of
Oh,
sucked.
yeah?
But
What is it? now?
apparently she has a brain tumor that like nearly killed her years back, and apparently that's fucking up with her body and like messing with her blood regulation, I guess. So they don't know if her pacemaker will actually do what it's supposed to, so it's not looking super good. Yeah, it's a bit fucked.
Just head north and aim towards Big Ben. That's the Eagle Hawk.
Other than that, though, I think I came to terms with every fucked up thing that happened the other day. And I finally got to work a shift with, like, the good worker that didn't make me want to blow my brains out. And, you know, I'm still a little happy that the one chick quit, so.
Primer Tavern, home of the Slime Bogle Chimichanga and the best swamp swill in the wasteland. Check your troubles.
But no, I've also just really been enjoying fucking Rage. It's a fucking
So-
good game.
What happened with
Hey, Cutter.
Alan?
Let's trade some words.
Oh yeah, I guess I basically, last night, the last thing you remember is like me talking
Oh, you're
about all
new.
the shit that happened.
This is the Dud Primer.
And then like he
Well-
joined the party, and then like the whole. Okay, so tell me what you last remember.
No, I remember all of it. You straight up messaged me saying going to Alan's.
You
Like,
bet.
what happened at
Basically,
Alan's?
his.
Like what happened when you
So-
went to Alan's is basically all
I
asked.
went to go drive him to his house basically because his ride bailed on him, and I used that as an excuse to talk to him. And I told him, I'm like, "You've been my friend for 6 fucking
And I found your
years."
stuff.
So like, yeah, there's that, and I'm like, you've lost every other friend you've had, and I've been helping you out and like helping you out with your baby, and when you were fucking jobless, I fucking had your back, man. And I said, Isn't it fucked that within a week that she's pulled
I'm
all this
telling
shit,
you, that's bad
and that all of
intel,
your friends
Guru.
are in this fucking party right now telling you it's garbage?
Tiny gulp, Marsh.
No, you don't
And
get true swill. You
I
don't
told
get
him, like,
true talk.
I know I'm not telling you
Violence
to divorce her. I'm not telling you to make those
right.
decisions.
Don't
But like,
write the shit by mega bad.
you've lost every relationship, and she's the only relationship you have, and you've lost every relationship because of her.
For a free fix
So
of swill here.
I'm not telling you I want you to
Farmland
fucking
is
leave her or
gone.
shit like that, but I'm letting you know you're gonna lose everybody because of her.
Don't plug it all at once. Ranger, huh? Oh, I haven't seen a ranger here in a long time.
John Marshall, legendary resistance fighter, war hero.
But yeah, that,
Grew up on stories
and then
about
like I
this
dropped
guy.
him off, and he's like,
Gotta
dude,
admit, I was
I'm probably
expecting
gonna take the
something more
fucking house
impressive.
and the kid and just leave her fucking
Yeah.
high and dry. She hasn't worked in years apparently, and the only reason they're together is
Seems
one because
impossible.
his condom broke,
Vineland's
and
defenses
two
were
because like
impenetrable.
he hasn't
So we
ever
all
had
thought.
anyone,
You weren't ready
and
for
she's
it.
his second longest
You weren't ready
relationship,
for
so
the
he got
authority.
kind of
Yeah, back
desperate.
then.
He admitted it.
I'm guessing you'll hear about the Dagger Project. Problem is,
So
we're under a
it
whole
was
different
a
kind of
fuck
siege here.
upon fuck
Muties,
deci-
clogging up our power
conversation.
turbine in the sewers. Now, if someone was to take care of that,
Yeah,
If that's what it
sounds like
takes to
would
get
be.
Dagger online, show me what to kill and where.
you catch on fast. I sent down every rent-a-killer who walked in here, but they all end up dead.
It won't take long.
But no, I will admit the first day I tried to take my frustrations out by playing this fucking game. I don't think it helped, but I think now that where I'm at,
Step closer. Let me see
I
your
think I'm
eyes.
pretty good.
Let me stare right into your soul, and yes,
Yeah.
I know what you want. You want intel and data, low-down dirt, chapter and verse. Jack Crow can deliver, but it'll cost you. Yeah, you'll come again.
So it was Bitch Girl that quit.
Yeah, it was. So basically, what had happened was, I don't think I got to tell you this whole story. You know, like
what she got told was old lady or her.
You get that power back for me.
it was either the old lady or her. Yeah, it was basically what I had to go on.
Marshall sent you, huh? Third one this week. Let's hope you got something they didn't.
But basically, I went in after she had quit, and like she didn't actually officially quit. What had happened was she had done a sob story a while back, and I told my manager, I'm like, you realize she played your emotions because, you know, I told you she like missed 3 days in a row, and every day she called in late, even later, without doing the 2-hour notice, which is the 3 write-ups right there. And she like gave her a pass because she said stuff about her family being sick and her dad having cancer and shit like that. And my manager retaliated because that like, oh, her dad has cancer. And I'm like, every one of my fucking family members has cancer in one form or another. Hell, even my fucking brother does. And I went, so don't play the whole, oh, you wouldn't know what it's like to have a family member with cancer. Because I'm like, I'm going to tell you right now, I have more family members with cancer than everyone who works here has in all of their families. And I can attest to that. And I'm like, it's fucked. And it's not something I should brag about, but I'm letting you fucking know that, like, my tolerance with her missing 3 days saying she's taking care of her kid and then trying to ask for more days off to go see her fucking dad who has cancer when we know she wasn't spending those 3 days with her children.
Yeah.
So this time basically what had happened was that she tried to pull a sob story to get out of calling in late and missing shifts because she didn't show up for a shift. And then she came in with a doctor's note, but the doctor's note was for her kid and not her.
There's an underground
And she didn't
sewer
give
down
notice
these old
either.
sewers. We hooked
I
it
say
up
you
to a
can kind of
turbine generator.
forgive
Makes us
for the
completely
kid thing just because it's like.
As in,
Also, the
this is
doctor's
what's
note
going
didn't
on with
explain
the kid.
what she had or what was going on. It was just a fucking doctor's note.
It just said.
Like it was a, yeah, it was just said, whatever.
And how's that working out?
Basically, there was no description.
Well, apart from the occasional wrench in the works, like say a mutie infestation clogging up the turbine, we're good.
But yeah, so basically, when she realized that Misty wasn't dealing with her
That's what I
fucking
am? A hired gun?
Hell no. You're a ranger.
bullshit and Cryon bullshit, she walked out in a huff, clocked out,
Just
and
making
since she
sure,
left
Marshall.
the shift, without letting anyone know, and she just walked off after write-ups is a termination of post because she just left without saying anything, which is a fireable offense and a technicality we caught her on. So now she's not allowed to come back, and we're probably gonna hire this one chick who's like really fucking cool and just like a really nice human being. So I'm like, yeah, get rid of the toxins and the poison, and you've got this. So yeah, all in all, I think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So stuff's slowly starting to work its way back to decent, and I honestly think that's helped me out because, man, I got more dick punches in the last few days than anyone should have in like months. It was not fun. It was like one blow after the other, and I've never been so mad, and I've never been so upset that I actually experienced physical fucking pain from it. Like that's no-go. That's bullshit. Like, I was physically hurting, and like it was hard for me to breathe. I was getting so upset.
Yeah, which is
That should have never been
definitely
allowed
not
to
good for
happen.
your health.
Hey, Marshall.
No, it's
You know
not,
there's a
especially
park
because like
down here?
we have
Just
problems
sitting
with like heart conditions and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah. Maybe you got the nanotrack config it takes. See if you can't get it to open sesame for you.
Please approach for security scanning.
But yeah.
Security scanning.
I will admit,
Welcome to
I have a little bit of relief, but I haven't had good news about my grandma, so there's still that tension there. So as long as nothing else punches me in the
It's an
dick, I think I'll
architect's
be fine.
shotgun.
I mean, I can punch you in the
Man,
dick.
I've only seen these in old holologs.
Oh, wait, that wasn't... Never mind. I'm making a joke right there with that.
Yeah, I know. I think talking about all this shit just kind of brought up some stuff, so... Oh, trying to calm down.
So you're crying. Oh.
No, just a little bit of
Oh,
breathing
grandpa,
issues.
you little bitch.
Finally got a fucking shotgun in this game, which is nice.
In precision aim, the shell
Oh, sweet, you can blow your
threads
brains
are
out now.
into a single solid slug.
Yeah,
with
I can
great
pull it through my
non-blast
TV, hand it off to my real life self, and shoot myself.
Yep.
Good.
Jesus Christ. All the guns have different functionalities and alternate fires based on if you're free firing or aiming down sight, so it's pretty fucking dope. And then if
Nice.
you're in rage mode, they have another alternate fire that's even more powerful. Oh my god, the rage mode one gives it incendiary rounds with a wide berth.
Your training is complete. Ending simulation.
That's sick as fuck. But no, I basically went on about like what friends I have that currently matter and what friends I've had from the beginning that have mattered to me and haven't fucked me over yet.
No corridor sweeper, eh? You got lucky.
I feel like it was a good talk with myself and to address stuff evidently in the future that may or may not happen, or if anything else happens, it's at least a standing point. Basically, I mean, you know, like when I stream for fun, and like I archive it mostly for like memorabilia for myself. But I do think that like if I'm ever going, and I'm not saying I plan on it because like I just kind of stream as like a side hobby, but if I ever like get a following or a basis of people who watch me, I feel like it's good to like vent about shit that's happened in my life so people know where I'm at certain points, whether it's good or bad. I think my game just froze. Fuck. Right after I got the shotgun too. That's not fair. That's not okay. Well, would you like to play a game, Josiah?
I guess, yeah.
Unless you don't want to, then I'll just keep playing Rage
Yeah, I don't
and we
care.
just stand apart.